Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to discuss about how to become a DevOps engineer. In this video, I'm going to share a complete roadmap and step-by-step guide with you so that you can start your journey to become a DevOps engineer. Remember one thing, every organization have their own problems and they are using various tools to solve their problems. But we don't need to learn each and every tools. We should only focus on some basic tools which are very commonly used in every organizations. Yes, so in this video we are going to discuss all those basic tools which we should aware about it and we should master on it. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Okay, so let's start discussing the roadmap of to become a DevOps engineer. Okay, so I have mentioned here two different operating system here. First one is the Linux, second one is the Windows. So Linux is a very commonly and widely used. So I would say you should start with the Linux. Windows is also in use with some of the organizations are using Windows. Those who are having the traditional infrastructure and the traditional codes like they have applications which are running on the .NET application. So that's the reason they mostly use the Windows, because .NET is stick with the Windows only. But in the Linux you can run any of the applications like Java, Go, front end, back end, any applications you can run on the Linux machines. Okay, so if you are choosing the Linux as your first operating systems to learn, then you don't need to learn each and everything. You should only learn the listed of the commands, and you should learn the basics of the Linux, like how to create a directory and file, permissions of the directory and file, how you can give any change the permissions and ownerships of any file or folder. Similarly, you should also learn how you can add any user, give them some limited permissions, create a links, right, like a shortcuts in the Windows. Similarly, in Linux you can create a links like a hard link and soft links. Also, you should learn how to debug by watching the logs, like if any application is not running, then you should first check why it is not running. So before checking how actually you are going to check, so those methods are called the debugging in the Linux. Okay, so for that only you have to go to a specific location and check the logs of that application. Also, you should learn how to log into server like a remote servers. Okay, you should also learn how to check the disk and memory, if it is a full or not full, how actually you are going to remove any file, how you can add any file into the disk, right? So those parts you have to learn. Also, you need to learn like how to debug a network if you are try to connect with some server which are in remote, but somehow you are not able to connect to it, right? So the first step is you have to first debug the network part, if that particular server and the port is available or not from your location. Similarly, you should also learn the IP tables. So IP tables is something a firewall which is very similar to the in a Windows Defender, right? So in a Windows you have a Windows Defender. Similarly, in Linux we have a IP tables. Also, you can learn how you can become a root user, because root user in Linux is a kind of a admin user. So those things in the Linux you have to learn. Once you are done with the Linux learning, then it's a time to go through these technologies. So first one is cloud infrastructure. So you can see here in the cloud infrastructure, I have mentioned three different cloud providers: GCP, AWS and Azure. So you should start with some simple one. The simple one is AWS. Why I am saying it is a very simple one? Because the console of the AWS is very much user friendly. So you should start with the AWS. And in AWS, since there are 200 plus services which offered by the AWS, but you should not learn each and every services. There are only 12 services which are the foundation services, and you should focus on those services only. If you are done with the cloud infrastructure, then it's the time to automate the same infrastructure which you are able to provision manually in the cloud. So we are going to learn the Terraform. So Terraform will be a infrastructure as a code for you, which actually going to help you to provision the same resources whatever you have created here manually. So this time you are going to provision those services using the automated method. So using the Terraform you can do that. Once you are done with the coding part, like it's a very simple and very small codings, you don't need to write any much coding like a Java, Go or something like that. It is a very simple coding. It's just a YML files, you have to edit it. Once you are done with that one, then it's the time to learn something about the code management, how you can manage your source code. So the GitHub is a tool which is a very common and widely used. So I would say you should start with learning with the GitHub. In the GitHub also, you don't need to learn each and every part of the GitHub, whatever the developers needed. As a DevOps engineer, you have a very limited work in the GitHub as well, like how to create a branch, how to check out and how to pull, how to raise a pull request, how to basically administrate the users in the GitHub. Those parts, if you are done with it, you are fine. Now it's the time to go to the CI/CD tool. So I would recommend you start with the Jenkins. Again, Jenkins is a very simple tool to start learning with it. So please start learning the Jenkins to have a skills as a DevOps engineer. Once you are done with the Jenkins, it is a time to monitor the applications whatever we have deployed. So Jenkins is also an application for you, so you have to monitor that application. So under the observability tool, you can see here the application monitoring and log monitoring. Application monitoring, we are going to use the tool called Prometheus and Grafana. It is again a free and open source tool, so you can start learning on it. You just need to install that software in your laptop as well, and you can go with it. Also, once you are done with the application installation, this is the application and you installed it, right? So you have to check the logs as well, right? So every time you are not going to the server and run the some commands to check the logs. So you should learn some tool to get the logs of those. So there is a tool called EFK, Elastic, Fluentd and Kibana. By using that tool, you can basically display the log. So this is how you can start your journey as a DevOps engineer, and I am sure in the coming days you will become a DevOps engineer very soon. Also, I will create more videos on those specific topics so that will help you to start your journey and do some hands-on practicals. So for this video, that's it, and thank you so much for watching this video. See you in my next video.